Next on Worcester News Tonight, a local business closing its doors after more than 200 years of service. Plus, the Department of Massachusetts Transportation discussing its plans for the Plantation Street Bridge in Worcester. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Just days after Shaq's clothing store announced it's going out of business, another iconic store in downtown Worcester says it'll be doing the same. Elwood Adams hardware store has been on Main Street since the end of the 18th century and will soon be closing down for good. Our Cam Jandro paid a visit to the legendary store today and joins us with more. Cam?
Anna, for more than 230 years, Elwood Adams have been providing the people of central Massachusetts with all kinds of tools and appliances. Today, after 2 centuries in business, the store announced its journey will be coming to an end.
If Mark Lannon has a resume, it's a short one. His only job? Right here at Elwood Adams hardware store.
This is where I've been coming for 35 years every day.
His run at the store will come to an end when the hardware shop closes its doors for good next month. Lannon says business has been declining over the years, so he's not surprised they're closing, but says he will miss his customers.
This place is like Cheers without alcohol, because we have customers that'll come in here and sit here and just talk with us. I know a lot of their families. I know their history. So we have a lot of relationships here, so it's going to be tough to move on from those.
The building on 156 Main Street was the city's first made out of brick and has become a staple in downtown Worcester since the business opened in 1782. The store has even worked its way onto the National Register of Historic Places. Lannon says closing the landmark is just a sign of the times.
It's tough to compete when you've got a multi-billion-dollar company up against a small mom and pop like this, but it's sad because this is what America was. I don't know what it's going to be like in the future, but...
In a statement Monday, Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Tim Murray says in part, small retail businesses are being challenged throughout the country with online sales and pressure from national big box chains. Local, small retailers in Worcester and Central Mass are not immune to these pressures. Down the street from Elwood Adams is the Garden Fresh Courthouse Cafe. Owner Lisa Maniatis says it's unfortunate to see her friends and fellow business owners go out of business.
I'm sad. It's a change. It's the world I guess we are in today, but unfortunately all the bigger companies take over and it is what it is. It's hard.
You either try to keep up with it or you fall behind, but it's just one of those sad situations.
Absolutely.
Now, the store will be having sales throughout the month as they look to move as much product as they possibly can. Lannon says Elwood Adams will be closing its doors in mid-October. Anna?
Thanks, Cam. Now to the gruesome details in a quadruple murder in Groton. 4 people murdered in the small town. A 22-year-old man faced a judge today, and now investigators say 3 of the victims were close family members. Alicia Palumbo has the latest on the investigation.
22-year-old Orion Krause of Rockport, Maine, showed no emotion as he was arraigned on charges of murdering his mother, 60-year-old Buffy Krause, his grandfather, 89-year-old Frank Lackey III, his grandmother, 85-year-old Elizabeth Lackey, and his grandparents' caregiver, 68-year-old Bertha Parker. Investigators allege Orion Krause beat them to death, likely with a baseball bat, both inside and outside his grandparents' Common Street Farm home in Groton, Massachusetts, Friday afternoon.
It's a horrific situation that we are not used to dealing with.
His relatives wiped away tears and even appeared to pray for him in court. Middlesex District Attorney Marion Ryan revealed Buffy Krause had become concerned for her son's safety, calling Rockport police after he left their home there Thursday night.
She was reassured by being contacted by her son early on Friday morning, who indicated he was fine. He had traveled to the greater Boston area.
DA Ryan said later Friday morning Orion contacted his mother again, asking for a ride home from the Boston area. But Ryan says instead Buffy Krause drove her son to her parents' Groton home.
Sometime after they entered the home, the allegation is that the defendant assaulted the 4 adults.
Orion Krause is being held without bail pending a mental health evaluation at Bridgewater State Hospital in Groton. Alicia Palumbo, Worcester News Tonight.
It's been 16 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks in New York City. Nearly 3,000 people were killed, some of who went to colleges across Worcester. Today, their lives are remembered. Our Brittany Schaefer has more.
Most city colleges, including the College of the Holy Cross and Clark University, lost alumni during the 9/11 terror attacks. And now today, 16 years later, both schools say they will never be forgotten.
It's nice that we haven't forgotten it all these years later.
16 years later, the terrorist attacks on 9/11 remain the deadliest in U.S. history. Close to 3,000 people were killed, including some Worcester College alumni.
He was at work, he was up in the towers, the planes hit. He immediately called his wife saying that, you know, he was not going to make it, and I love you, and I love the kids. And I mean, that's got to be just earth-shattering.
Nellie was actually on one of the planes, unfortunately. One of her first days back at work after returning from maternity leave.
Daniel Trant graduated from Clark University in 1984, where he was an All-American basketball player. Current basketball coach Paul Phillips says he was an outstanding player and an even better person.
He was not only someone I knew well, he was a friend. He was a lot of fun, enjoyed life, and obviously his life was cut short.
7 alumni from the College of the Holy Cross died in the 9/11 attacks. The school now has a memorial plaza with a plaque of the names and a fountain donated by the Cantor family. Many of the alumni worked at Cantor Fitzgerald's headquarters on one of the top floors of a twin tower.
The college was shell-shocked. This plaque, in the sense this is a place to remember, has made it a central space and one that really means something a little bit different. It was a quieter space for our campus.
While the country remembers the thousands of lives lost on this day, people say they will never forget where they were when the first plane hit the World Trade Center.
I was a senior here at the college, and I woke up and turned on the TV, and honestly, it felt like I was watching a movie.
I just wanted to get home, grab my kids out of school, because I thought we were all going to die. It impacted all of us.
Now, Phillips says although the tragedy was horrific, the way the country united together to help those affected was life-changing. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Staying in Worcester, several firefighters are remembering the lives of the New York firefighters who were killed during the attacks on the World Trade Center. As our Rosalind Flaherty explains, they're part of a volunteer group working to help people in need in the city.
A group of Worcester firefighters were hard at work Monday, building a handicap-accessible ramp while remembering 343 firefighters on the New York City Department killed in the 9/11 attacks.
You go to work every day, but you expect to go home, and that day 343 of our brother firefighters did not go home. And if in some small way, as a public service, we can remember those guys.
The Central Massachusetts AFL-CIO recruited the Worcester Firefighter Ramp Gang to construct this ramp at a Worcester home. The group volunteers their services several times a year.
It's tough work, but it's rewarding work. It's a great program. It's a great project. There's a nice gentleman inside, 90+ years old, for us to be able to come in and get him out safely and efficiently and memorize our brothers and sisters. It's a good day.
The group paused for a moment of silence at the time the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed 16 years ago.
We're talking about it, we're discussing it, we've gone over it.
Don Courtney is a retired Worcester firefighter. He says when he first heard about the terrorist attacks, so many questions went through his mind.
How are they going to put this fire out? And I think firefighters throughout the country looked at it that way and says, how are they going to get this fire out? It's up 90 floors.
He says firefighters throughout the country will be thinking of their brothers on the somber anniversary of 9/11 who made the ultimate sacrifice.
They're our brothers, and they died doing their job. The country was attacked, but you know what? They put all of that aside, and they went in there, and 25,000 people were alive today because of the firefighters' actions.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
The Massachusetts Department of Transportation taking another step forward in the project slated for the Plantation Street Bridge over the CSX Railroad. Monday night, Mass DOT invited the public to a hearing, giving them an opportunity to learn more about the proposed replacement of the current bridge. Matt Hopkinson is the project manager. He says some of the roads were changed after CSX came to the city. Tonight's meeting is to discuss cleaning up traffic issues by widening the bridge.
Just barely have room for the 3 lanes, northbound to southbound, and the left turn lane onto Aitchison Street. This will allow us to put back shoulders for bicycle access. We'll have bicycle lanes on both sides of the road, plus ample sidewalks.
Hopkinson says the next step now is to advertise the project in the summer of 2018, then select a contractor. A Worcester hospital is recognized Monday for their work promoting organ, eye, and tissue donations. St. Vincent Hospital received a platinum recognition for promoting enrollment in state organ donor registries. The award is part of a national campaign sponsored by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The campaign has added more than 400,000 donor enrollments to state registries nationwide.
In situations where a patient has passed away here at St. Vincent's and has either made his or her own decision to be a donor, or their family has made the decision to give the gift of life, then the organ donation is coordinated together with the St. Vincent's medical team and the New England Donor Services team. And so St. Vincent's is one of very few hospitals in the region, and certainly in a small group nationally, that received a platinum award this year.
I think it's a way to really move on as a hero and know that you saved someone's life, and to reassure people that their life will be saved if it can be.
According to New England Donor Services, an organ donor can save up to 8 lives. If you'd like to become a donor, you can log on to registerme.org. Tuesday, City Council Districts 1 and 5 will hold their preliminary elections. In District 1, incumbent City Councilor Tony Economou is not running for re-election. The 4 candidates running will be reduced to 2. In District 5, incumbent City Councilor Gary Rosen is now running for an at-large seat. Again, 4 candidates are running. The top 2 will advance. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. The city's general election is November 7th. Well, there's just 1 month left until hockey returns here to Worcester. This past weekend, the Ice Center saw its first visitors on the practice rink. As our Catherine Andrioli explains, the Worcester Railers are ready to build a championship team.
At the Ice Center, worked around the clock, pulling 24-hour shifts to make sure that the ice was ready for 6 a.m. on Saturday, and they got it done.
Hockey is happening in Worcester thanks to crews who worked tirelessly to make it possible.
Over the course of the week, we had overnight crews installing the ice, prepping the building.
The Fidelity Bank Worcester Ice Center opened to teams this weekend. As you can see, the ice is crisp, and the Worcester Railers say they're ready to drop the puck here in just a couple weeks.
Watching this project being built from the ground up, and getting the locker room constructed, and we're excited to open training camp October 1st here.
Saturday, the $18 million facility officially opened, hosting dozens of youth hockey teams. Worcester Railers head coach Jamie Russell says the team is ready to hit the ice for training camp on October 1st after a long-anticipated year.
Each day of practice for training camp is it's been a long time in coming, and getting back on the ice and working with the players and starting to work towards building a championship team.
The facility will also house several area high school and college teams. It will include a restaurant, physical therapy center, and the Railers Pro Shop set to open later this fall. Russell says the facility will be a key recruiting tool for the organization.
It's a real recruiting tool, and the ECHL is a recruiting league, and word is going to spread very quickly in the hockey world at how beautiful a facility this is.
I know a lot of the youth hockey organizations were feeling pretty good after their first skate, and look forward to spending a lot of time here in the years to come.
In Worcester, Catherine Andrioli, Worcester News Tonight.
The Railers season kicks off October 14th at the DCU.